wonderful, wonderful to have your own spaceship, because when the show first started, I was just amazed to have a sword that turned into a laser gun. Because I go, yeah, cool, I'm an alien, I've got a sword that turns into a laser gun, I am happy. And it was sort of my next Boy's Own Adventure toy, to go, I've got my own spaceship, it's got a gun that comes out the top and rotates around and shoots shit. It's absolutely brilliant.
That's a mask?
No. Yes. I have to pee. You are glorious.
Identify yourself.
I am Cardago, son of Leighton, grandson of Rexar, and I am the great-grandson of Cardago Traital.
Power systems at your command, Cardago. Telemetry functions at your command. Deception aid at your command. Communication array at your command. Eyes clear.
It was the equivalent of the sword in the stone. You know, it really was. You pull this out of here and you have a destiny for your people. That ship was really encompassed a very similar idea to that. You have found this, you're the one that can operate it, you're the one that can drive it. You have a destiny that is going to influence all of your people.
The voting for the captaincy is complete. 4 votes for a new and deserving captain. Cardago!
He's wanted this type of responsibility so much of his life. To finally have it, he discovers what he's equipped to do. And I think it's a nice balance of success and failure. There's some moments where you see, wow, there's definitely a potential leader in there, but perhaps thrust into situations that are just too full on, too quick.
Believe it or not, I'm actually getting better at controlling this thing.
How did you say you figured this out?
Well, much trial and error, actually.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Practically, with that shit, it was an absolute nightmare because it was so tiny. And originally they built, I don't know whether it ever made a cut, but the seats came up to neck height. And Dargo can't sit on anything with seats like that because the headpiece, the tentacles go down to my waist, so I can't sit back on anything. So I couldn't sit in the seats when they first made them, so they had to be ripped out and then put in these other seats that just came up to the small of your back, so I could put my tentacles over the back of those. So I sort of did that, so that worked. And I just could never fit in there, like my head would bump onto stuff and this and that and around, and there was usually like 6 of us crammed in there and the bloody puppeteers under your leg and around, whatever. So the line was every time, it was like, Lola, buy Luxons for Luxons. It's like everyone's like pressed up and you ready for a take? Yeah, 1 sec, I'll just peel my face off the thrilling windscreen and we'll get going.
Oh, damn. How do you roll the window down in this place?
So that's the sort of behind-the-scenes angle on that. But yeah, it enabled him to be more mobile and enabled him to take on... I mean, I always remember right in the very first episode, you know, Dargo's complaining that he's not a pilot. He's like, I can't touch this, I'm not working this, I'm not a bloody pilot. And then by this time you can see he's fantastic with this ship, and that's just another gathering of skills in terms of that really long arc for him becoming a much more well-rounded warrior or savior of his people, if that was going to be the end point.
What the blitz is that smell?
The stench of that drilling chariot.
Oh, I know that odor. Macton.
Hey! You killed my wife!
This is not your fight.
You set me up and then you send me to prison!
Revenge became a really potent topic when we were doing the planning for the backstory ep, when we were going to deal with Macton.
One of us must die. I wouldn't run, even if I could.
There was lots of debates thrown back and forth about what an appropriate way to deal with that was. Do you just go in and take him out or not, or how has he learnt? And there were lots of different options on the table, and I think that it's a simple thing to say, but a sign of maturity that at the end he decides that he's not going to give back what he's got. He's going to make sure that this person pays, that he's held accountable and responsible. But being made accountable for something that you've done is very different from exacting revenge on them for doing it. So I think that's the journey that Dargo makes as he matures. He starts to think about it more circumspect and think, yes, well, this person needs to pay for this, but it's not going to be a matter of me killing him.
I'm violent when I choose to be. And right now, I choose not to kill you.
And I think that's the responsible message thing for him to do as a character, and the responsible message to be sending out as storytellers as well.
It's not the truth. Not the whole truth. She was beaten.
It was your fault she died.
Managing death in science fiction, I think, is one of the great challenges for everyone, for the writers, for the directors, for the actors, because science fiction works at where the stakes are so high that every single episode you're in mortal danger.
I'll kill you. I will kill you! I swear I will kill you.
Someone's going to try and kill you, you're trying to kill someone else, someone is dying, blowing up. So in one sense, on one level, death is meaningless in a sci-fi environment because you've just got characters without faces, if you like, being bang, bang, laser guns going around, they're dead, they're the bad guy, they're the bad guy. So on one sense, it's sort of meaningless, but on another level, because it is because the crux of the dramatic tension for that episode, you have to make it real for the characters. I don't think anyone ever watching it really believes that your main characters are going to die every week. But you have to invest so much emotional energy into it that you have to at least believe the pretext of the danger. And getting to that height, getting to that emotional height, to that pitch, if you like, of the storytelling is a real challenge. And I think lots of people came and guested on the show or came to direct the show for the first time and didn't appreciate just how difficult it is to reach that pitch where your character is once again in danger.
He hasn't said a word.
He's Luxon. He'll die first. Which means all this pain has been for nothing. As it will continue to be. But perhaps you like pain. Is that it? I hope so.
To make that real for the audience and to tell that accurately and to get that pitch was a real challenge. And sometimes we got lazy with it, sometimes we overpitched it, sometimes we missed it, but I think most of the time we really got it right, and we really were invested in making sure that things remained dangerous and potent and that our needs really needed to be expressed very forcefully.
Doggo, listen to me. Wait for Crichton, he'll...
No, Gianna. You can never tell me what to do. Ever again.
No! Don't do it!
Come up with that energy and imagination to make that energy work every week was difficult, but one of the great challenges of doing the show as well. At a sort of more thematic level, I think that when moments of death came in the arc of the series, from whether it was Zan or all the moments where you were confronted with a deeper understanding of mortality, apart from the sci-fi laser gun shooting people, that then it just comes down to the emotional investment that the audience has in the characters, and do they care enough for this person to exist within this world anymore? And then what are you exploring with that is also more important. Not a matter of, oh, we've got to make this character really likable so then when we kill them off there, people are upset about it. It's like, well, if we choose to go down that path, what are we trying to say about mortality, sacrifice, what's happening at a metaphorical level? What are we really trying to say about death and mortality? And I think that we really tried to explore those things. So that was good. It wasn't, at that level, it wasn't taken flippantly at all, which is fine. It's okay to deal with it flippantly for characters where you're not invested in them, they're faceless and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to your central characters, it's important to have something to say. It's important that people don't feel ripped off, that it's just a gimmick.
I'll never get to him now. Never ever.
Characters in any story, whether it's sci-fi or a domestic drama or The West Wing or whatever, are only relevant in terms of, I'm going to get too verbose now, but only relevant in terms of how they relate to the perspective of the show. So some shows have multi-perspectives, but Farscape is really, it's Crichton's perspective. So characters are only relevant in terms of how they interact with Crichton, how relevant they are to Crichton. And the success or lack of success in characters in Farscape really depends on the strength of those relationships with Crichton. So it's very obvious to Mark as you watch a show like that, when you feel that characters are becoming out of focus or soft or they're not really as well wrought as they might have been in the past or ever, it's really easy just to track that back to how relevant they are to Crichton, because he's the perspective that's given, you know, for the audience. The audience is on his journey.
I love hanging with you, man. My dad's good luck charm.
Does it work?
I'm alive.
So you feel that as a cast member, you're going, wow, this is maybe interesting, you may have a fantastic idea and maybe this wonderful backstory that does X, Y, Z, and you pull these rabbits out of the hat and there's these great tricks and all that. But if it doesn't relate back to him, then it's not going to gel.
Aaron?
I'm still here, but I still can't get to you.
May not matter. Dargo's unconscious.
Also, one of the great challenges for the writers is coming up with a cliffhanger, a life and death cliffhanger. Everyone expects it, you need a bridge into the next season. You need something that's going to be so interesting that people can hold off for X amount of months before the next season arrives. There's enough questions that need answering. There's enough interest there to want people to come back and to bring other people back. So to devise those, put people in mortal peril or emotional peril or whatever at the end of a season is you're really pulling every trick out of the bag you've got without hopefully pulling tricks, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it's like you want to make sure that it's emotionally grounded and real and poses real questions as opposed to questions where you just feel ripped off. Oh my God, they've put the lead characters where they look like they're dead.
Ignition, look at that mother burn!
What makes the end of season 1 more potent, I think, was the whole episode. That you didn't get a sense that it was an episode cut in half. You didn't get a sense that, oh my God, we've missed the last 10. That's when I think people feel ripped off, when they feel like, oh my God, we've just missed the last 10 minutes of the ep, if you like. They've cut it there, and I've got to wait till the next season to get the last 10 minutes of this, because then I'll find out whether these people are dead or not. But you really got a sense over the whole of that episode, the last episode of season 1, of lots of resolution of things that had gone on before, but also a continuance much further into the future. Lots of really interesting questions that pertain to many more things other than the fact that Crichton and Dargo are hanging in space.
Sorry I didn't get a chance to meet your son, Jotham.
I miss being a part of his life more and more each day.
Your blood runs through him, Dargo. That's influence enough. I'm sure he's very much like you.
Hopefully his mother's nose. 'Cause much longer.
I never thought I'd live this long.
If my memory's correct, we did know that we were going on. The moments where we thought we weren't going on is at the end of the first 13, because I think we got picked up. We were guaranteed 13 episodes of the first season, and then we were waiting with bated breath to find out about the last 13. And then I think somewhere well before, by the time we shot 22, we knew we were going to do the next one. So there was a moment in every season where you knew the date for the renegotiations were coming up, and it was nerve-wracking for everyone because it's for people watching the show, there's an emotional investment in the drama, and we have that as well, but the real investment for us was just a practical level. These are our jobs. You know, it's like, wow, am I going to be able to pay my mortgage? Am I going to pay my rent? Am I going to be able to feed my kids? Am I going to be able to do whatever, for the next, whatever people's concerns were? So it was a real fearful week every time.
Stand by. Please.
That rig never stayed the same for longer than sort of half a season. Although having said that, for season 4 it was pretty much the same. What was different was sort of some more costume underneath things. But by season 4, it really came down to we could, in between takes, I think it was either the end of season 3 or the start of season 4, where I could start to take the chest off as well. Because originally, right at the start, I couldn't take anything off, and then eventually we were able to get more and more bits and pieces. So by the end, I would only be in the full rig for a take.
Right, ready? Stand by.
Yes, pilot, that is understood. The female peacekeeper and the other human have just escaped.
I'd rehearse, I'd be in boxer shorts, a t-shirt, all the makeup on the face, because they're all glued on, different pieces, and that was it. It was a really bizarre, and thongs. Oh, you don't call them thongs in America, it's like lingerie, isn't it? What do you call thongs in America? Flip-flops. So flip-flops, boxer shorts, makeup on there, and then we'd rehearse the scene, we'd be ready to shoot, and the first would go, "Dargo up!" and the second would yell out, "Dargo up!" and all the ADs, you hear this echo, screams across the studio, "Dargo up!" and then the makeup girl, who looks after me, would go, "Dargoing up!" and I'd be surrounded by 3 girls at that stage, and one would put the back rig of my head on, someone would put my boots on, so it was an absolute choreographed amazing moment, and everything would come on, the chest would come on and bang, and then we'd go on and do the take, and when they were finished, yep, print that, then you'd hear, okay, Dargo down, Dargoing down, Dargoing down. I'd be surrounded by people again, and that'd come off, the back of the head would come off, and the chest would come off. So I think that's came in season 4, might have came up season 3, but yeah, the last stage of comfort, if you like, was being able to remove the chest as well. So, and that just made life so much easier.
Do I know you?
Hi.
I doubt it.
To have makeups that were so intricate and detailed that could undertake lots of different environments and move around, things like that. I mean, it took a lot of trial and error at some stage to get them to be able to do that, to be that versatile. But having things like pilot in a television show, it's just incredible. Just the size of that animatronic and how it had to be worked and all those type of things, and the Dargo makeup and all these type of things were just very ambitious for a television show. And that was the main thing that attracted me to working on it in the first place, was just being involved with the Henson Company, because they're just a really interesting company who's made really fascinating, wonderful things.
I, of course, will return home first.
You?
I bartered for the coordinates to this asteroid. I made the first contact with Namtar. I struck the deal. I go home first.
Dargo and I have already spoken. Whoever's home is the closest, that is where we will travel to first.
You two have spoken. Without consulting me. What am I? Chopped millet?
Of course not. I can stomach chopped millet.
Blue-ass bitch.
What did you call me?
A blue-ass bitch.
In season 1, you get the sense that the tensions between the characters will result in absolute separation. that one character will completely sell other characters down the river because their agenda is so personal and so nothing to do with the other people that they'll jettison their objectives to make sure that theirs happens. And then by season 4, the tension wasn't that at all. The tension was like bickering.
I am starving. Isn't that a planet out there?
Hot and lifeless. Do you eat rock?
Right now? I think I could.
You ate only 3 solid days ago. How inefficient is your body?
How edible is yours?
That change, I think, is necessary because you need to explore the relationships between the characters, but also disappointing because you lost a lot of the really great self-serving, nasty aspects of the characters. Every single character became a little bit too likable. I think it was nicer when they were a bit more despicable.
What do you think you're doing?
Please, I implore you, just listen.
To what? How dare you?
Namtar has offered us something that we cannot obtain anywhere else.
Think about somebody else for a change.
I mean, I remember reading the web posts from season 1 where Dargo cuts off Pilot's arm because that's going to help them get a map, and Pilot was completely disposable at that point because he was going to serve their aims. And the response on the web, people were so outraged. How can you do this? That is so. How can a main character in a show cut off another one's arm? That is just absolutely horrible. This is not the type of show I want to watch. I'm going to refuse. That's the responses that I wanted for the show. I wanted people to be outraged at those moments. That because you learn something from that, because it's a metaphor for other things. And if they're that extreme, then I think you can tell many more interesting stories than bickering.
Where are my boots?
Dargo, we're in a window. There are people watching.
Scratch and Sniff definitely would have to be one of my favorites.
Why don't you just get dressed and give him a good show, sweetheart?
I am dressed.
It was written completely linearly, and I wasn't there, but apparently they watched it and just thought it was awful. And just thought it was so boring and dreadful and blah, blah, blah. And then Tony said, well, and the writers all had a meeting and said, well, we can actually, I want to do a real number on this.
Are you boys a couple?
No.
Can you handle some girls looking to party?
And they went and did an absolute number on it.
I am a full-blooded Luxon. And ladies, I have so much cash in my pocket that I can assure you that the 3 of us will be out of here on our hands and knees come sunrise tomorrow morning. I've been arrested for saying exactly the same thing on 4 different planets.
And I think that the courage to do that is just another instance where people just creatively solve problems, and it's a real credit to the writing department and to Tony, who directed, and everyone involved in the show, that they would take those type of risks. So they completely chop the order of scenes, cut scenes out, put scenes in where they absolutely weren't meant to go, flashbacks, flash forwards, things like that. And what you see on the screen is so completely different to what was written on the page when we shot it. It's just an amazing thing to see when you finally watched it.
We got rolled, and I don't think we need
Rogue, you can't get robbed again. I mean, what do you think? You think I want your shoes?
I don't know what you want.
You're not very smart, are you? Now he's got a brain. But you're a bit of an idiot.
I really enjoyed the backstory for Pilot, because I think that really brought Claude's character into its own, and she just does such beautiful work in that.
Pilot. This is difficult for both of us.
Both of us? It isn't me on that recording committing barbaric slaughter. With no remorse.
This is me, Pilot Aaron. We are closer than any 2 others on this ship. I still carry remnants of your DNA inside of me.
That's why your betrayal cut so deep.
That's a real favourite as well of mine. And I think as a whole, season 2 was the strongest season of all the seasons. So there's many episodes in that where we really found our rhythm in that season. Everyone was loving working with each other, and we felt we were making some really good stuff, and we were, and yeah, everything about that season. That's my personal highlight.
I come from this town called Billawheeler, and Billawheeler's a really tiny country town in central Queensland. So
the fans are just so overwhelming to meet. It's a really strange experience to be in these shoes when you consider yourself, not even consider yourself, when you are a person, you know, just living your life, and then you come to these events, and all of a sudden, people who you don't know treat you with such reverence and respect and warmth and friendship, and all those type of things are there. It's very humbling and overwhelming for me. I have moments where I'm just, my breath goes, and I just do not know what to say to these people, because their breath's going just because they've simply met you. And there's something about being a part of that community which is just so wonderful.
Can I just excuse me for 1 sec, because I'm raving on, jumping up and down, yelling, I'm getting hot. 1 sec. All right, so you got Queensland up here. Ah!
The reason why I think this community has developed like that and become so passionate and focused and connected, if you like, is I think because it created a whole universe, and that when you die, it really, that's probably its greatest achievement, Farscape. You really do believe that's a very vast, wide universe. Farscape, right from the first episode, just gave you the impression that it was, the perspective was endless in every direction. So that's very enticing for people to watch, to be able to go into a whole imaginary world in the same way that the Star Wars universe does. It can accommodate so many different experiences, characters, creatures, mentalities, things like that. And I would go as far to say that Farscape does it better than any other television sci-fi.
Here we go, hold it!
For us to arrive somewhere, A, where people just have seen it, because people call it, in Australia, we're doing Farscape, so Fire Escape. What's the show? Is it a fireman show or whatever? But so it's great to be somewhere where they've seen it, and then for them to be so appreciative. We've been so taken back by it. I think that the fans have appreciated the genuineness of our response, and I think that's endeared us to them in a way. They're going, oh my God, they really appreciate us being here. They really enjoy coming to the cons, and I know that everyone in the main cast of Farscape just so loves meeting these people and appreciates and wants to. I mean, it's not as though you can become friends with everyone, but you get a chance to look them in the eye and say, thank you for watching. Really, thank you. That's just so brilliant that you take the time out of all the television shows on television, out of, you know, the hundreds of things that you could choose to bring into your home. You've chose to let us into your lounge room. That's an absolute privilege. And I've heard people say that in interviews before, and I've never really appreciated it because I haven't been in their shoes. I've always thought it was a bit glib. Do you know what I mean? Oh, thanks for letting us into your home. It's okay. But I'm really just coming to appreciate the absolute truth of that as a privilege. When you see how passionately these people regard you and regard your work and what you've been doing in this sci-fi show, it's like, wow, thank you. That is a completely cool thing.